just behind me is a pub called the Dyke's End. This is wrong, this is actually the beginning of the Devil's Dyke, and it's thought that it was built around maybe 500 AD onwards by the Anglo-Saxons. However, there is evidence now that it's much, much older, and this 8-mile long mega earthwork is one of the most amazing pieces of prehistory here in Cambridgeshire. The Devil's Dyke is like a rare surviving example of one of the great earthen banks that stretches across the landscape of East Anglia. This massive bank and ditch stretched in a near straight line for 12 kilometres, about 7.5 miles, from the fen edge here at Reach, a small village, across the open chalk landscape to near Newmarket in the wooded slopes of Wood Ditton. It's best preserved at Gallows Hill near Burwell, where it is 10.5 metres or 34 feet high from the ditch bottom to the bank top. So there's a huge linear ditch along with a huge bank. So this is like the Avebury Hen stretched out for 7.5 miles across the landscape. It's thought it was built by the East Anglian Saxons in the late 6th or early 7th century AD, when there was a time of conflict, but they found through excavations Roman pottery and even Celtic artifacts as well, suggesting it could be much older. There are other theories that suggest it's even older. It could be Bronze Age, it could be the same date as Wandlebury Hill Fort, and the interesting thing is that it all lines up kind of parallel, or it crosses the different paths of the Icknield Way. So the whole of the Icknield Way had many different routes, and they would stretch from one side of the Devil's Dyke right to the other. And we can see that as we sort of look on the map, and there are other dykes kind of blocking the route of the Icknield Way as well, such as Fleam Dyke, Hayden Ditch, Brand Ditch and others, suggesting it was some kind of toll system in place by the ancients. I'm just standing up here on the Devil's Dyke, or the Devil's Ditch. There's different names for it given to it over the years, even the Reach Dyke, because it's in a village called Reach. It's 8 miles long, nearly 8 miles long. This is an incredible engineering effort. It's up to 30 feet high. It's got a huge ditch, bigger than the ditch at Avebury, going all the way along it, sort of, so you've got a raised part and a lower part, and it goes kind of northwest to southeast, and it kind of bisects the Icknield Way. And there are legends of giants, I've already mentioned this, but one of the most fascinating ones is the legend that Christopher Marlowe wrote in Legends of the Fenland People, where he talks about great giants were involved in the construction of this dyke, and they had great strength, ferocity and power, and they were the ones who did it. There's another story that talks about this giant whose daughter is wanted by the devil. The devil sort of fancies her, basically. So he calls on the water god to defeat the fire god, the devil. But the devil becomes much more powerful, and eventually the water god, and then combined with the earth goddess, they destroy the devil, and he leaves in a bad mood, and his tail lashes along the ground and creates the Devil's Dyke, what I'm standing on now. Another story states that at a wedding, the devil was at the wedding, and he got thrown out of the wedding and he left this in his wake, and various other stories have come forth. But interestingly, near here, the old black shuck or the black dog legends are quite strong as well. But the weirdest thing about this place, which really gets me, is this idea by Iman Wilkins, who believes these are like ramparts, defensive ramparts built across the landscape for the invading people of Troy. He believes Troy was actually on the Gog Magog hills, and you can see that in his book, Where Troy Once Stood. And his whole book is based upon this area being Troy, because all the flora, fauna, weather, everything matches up. The description, there's even been discoveries and archaeological finds that kind of suggest what he's saying could have some truth in it. Now, in the image here, you can just see the map that he created and the book cover, which talk about this. I'm not going to go into detail about it here, but you can just see the length of it in the aerial shots here. It is incredible, and yet this is an unknown, sort of untouched, piece of the landscape. One village at one end, a couple of villages nearby. The A14 road bisects it. And I came up here with David Hatcher-Childress of Ancient Aliens fame and Michelle Bullivant, a local archaeologist, a couple of years ago to investigate it. And there's different areas you can stop off and have a look, but it's so big that a lot of people even thought it was natural. It's absolutely amazing. So if you're in Cambridge or anywhere near there, check this out. But we've got some great light for the aerial shots, and it just seems like this is quite a magical place. You've also got the Fleam Dyke, which is near a Wandlebury, which actually has a mound there as well. You have Brand Ditch, Hayden Ditch, and others which you can see on the map. And these are really unexplained. No one really knows who built them or why they were built. Fleam Dyke has Bronze Age pottery shards found in it. And Mutlow Hill, the mound, is thought to be like Iron Age. So this is before the Saxons, 500, 600, 700 AD or whatever. So, although this is not unique, there are dykes. There's the Wands Dyke in Wiltshire, there's Offers Dyke along the whole edge of Wales, splitting England and Wales, which is even longer. Both of them are much longer. For Cambridgeshire, this is remarkable because there's nothing really megalithic here. There's a few little stones here and there. There's a few earthworks like Wandlebury and the War Ditches and Arbury Henge and a couple of others, but nothing of this magnificence. So it's a real kind of treat to kind of be able to come here just after Christmas and actually experience this incredible ancient earthwork called the Devil's Dyke.